True, Ravindra Sachdevji, please, thank you for your inputs. I've got to move on to Manipur. We've got a big development coming there. We'll be happy to hear your thoughts if you're willing to speak on Manipur too. Ambassador Deepak Vora and Colonel Sapam should be joining us. Manipur, let's quickly tell you, with Manipur Chief Minister N Biren Singh stepping down, the centre is hopeful that Kuki leaders will be more amenable to sitting across the negotiating table to sort out issues that are actually creating mistrust between the two major communities there, the Kuki and the Meitei. There are others too. Perhaps they will also come onto the table once the current situation with N Biren Singh, who's currently going to be caretaker CM for a while, but he is clearly decided that he's going to step aside. Now, this has been at the root of the ethnic strife in the state since May 2023, and the timing of N Biren Singh's resignation, which followed soon after he met Home Minister Amit Shah in the national capital, was driven by the assessment that his own support among MLAs has actually dwindled over time, and there were around 20 odd MLAs who were ready to go along with the opposition. 20 odd dissident MLAs within the BJP who could have perhaps backed a no-confidence motion had it come to fruition. Now, there's a sense that people of the state, both from the valley and the hills, are tired of this prolonged conflict. They were happy with the 4-5 years of peace and getting back to normalcy in life, and the failure of the Biren Singh government to curb it. And they want perhaps either decisive leadership or somewhere even a central rule, president's rule, in order to ensure there is peace. And this entire nefarious drug mafia, etc., is cracked down without driving fissures within the local communities or ethnic strife. Now, more news coming through according to top government sources here, speaking with CNN News 18. The government views Singh's departure as a crucial step towards bringing both the Kuki and Meitei communities to the negotiating table. Sources have added that talks are likely to ease the ethnic tensions between Kuki and Meitei communities. After talks, the National Investigation Agency is expected to accelerate its investigation into the violence that has plagued the state. Sources further said that the Kuki community feel that Biren Singh's government favoured the Meiteis. They were also upset because they felt the Biren Singh-led government did not address their issues related to land rights, autonomy and development. On the other hand, the Meiteis also are dissatisfied with N Biren Singh's delay in implementation of the scheduled tribe status, which they have been demanding for many years. As per sources, both sides are also upset over issues related to corruption, governance and accountability. And in light of these grievances, the centre has identified facilitating talks between Kuki and Meitei communities as top priority. Now, while intelligence sources said that N Biren Singh's resignation will bring relief, top sources indicate that while Singh's resignation has been welcomed by many, it remains uncertain whether this will immediately translate into peace. The Kuki-Zo community views Biren Singh's departure as a necessary step towards justice for what they claim are past atrocities committed against them. One of the Kuki community's key demands is the creation of a separate administrative territory to ensure their safety and protect their rights. Meanwhile, the role of the central government will be crucial in any efforts to resolve the ongoing crisis in Manipur, as intel sources stress that the centre's involvement will be key in facilitating peace talks between the Kuki and Meitei communities and ensuring that any agreements reached are implemented effectively. As the state grapples with ongoing ethnic tensions and violence, will Biren Singh's exit pave the way for peace and progress? That's the big question. We've got more news coming through at this point. Top sources have revealed that N Biren Singh will continue as caretaker CM. Meanwhile, options are being explored to form a government with a new CM. Sources also reveal that it can be a combination of new alliance partners, including JDU and NPP, to form the government. And if nobody comes forward, there's no clear solution to form government, then the centre will also explore the opportunity of bringing forth president's rule. Payal Mehta joining us with details. Yes, Payal.
You know, Anand, the centre is looking at all the options right now, given the fact that this is a violence-ridden state. They want to watch over at least the next 1 week or so to see how the situation pans out, whether anybody comes forth, with a consensus candidate to form the government. In that case, they'll be more than happy to have a proper government in place. But as of now, the Assembly is not in a suspended animation. It's basically sine die because the Assembly Assembly session, which was supposed to be called today, Anand, has been called off because there's no government in place. So Manipur government is currently a caretaker government. Having said that, the centre also wants to explore the other opportunities because, if you have to impose president rule, that has to get approval of the Union Cabinet. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is not available for at least the next 7 days' time. So that is something which cannot really happen. And once that really happens, once the cabinet gives it approval, then within the next 2 months you have to get the parliament to approve it. So which clearly means that once the prime minister is back, possibly by sometime next week, this can also be explored so that at least parliament, when it meets again in March, can actually give its approval. It has to be renewed by every 6 months, is what we're given to understand, cannot extend a term of 3 years. That is actually a possible situation given the fact that Manipur goes into election in 2027. So within a week's time, we'll know the situation as far as Manipur is concerned.
Right.
Consensus is going to be extremely important, as it is in Sambit Patra stays camped there in Manipur. Anand.
Well, thank you for your inputs, Payal. Ambassador Deepak Vora and Colonel Shantikumar Sapam also with us. Namaste, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us on short notice. This is just a sudden development. Ambassador Deepak Vora, will President's rule solve matters? Manipur,
thank you very
critical.
Much. Thank you very much. Always a privilege, sir, to be on your channel. By the way, I learn a lot from you. I'm not exaggerating. Please acknowledge the compliment that I'm paying. You're brilliant. Now, let me just put it to you like this. I've been there several times. And by the way, the scarf I'm wearing is a Hamar scarf from Manipur. I was doing the bamboo dance. They taught me that bamboo dance.
I recognize that to be from the northeast. But yes, please,
sir.
complete.
I was doing the bamboo dance. I did it pretty well. And so they presented me with it. The basic issue, one is the constitutional and political issues involved. That ye hona chahiye, wo hona chahiye, ye chala jaye, wo chala jaye, etc., etc. What is the basic issue? Basic issue is a lack of trust. There are two things as far as I understand, and I've been there dozens of times. Number one was the element of religion, the Christians versus the Hindus, Meiteis being Hindus, the Kukis and others being Christians. So there was this element. But more than that, I believe, was the fact that some were being favored, others were not being favored, a sense of deprivation, a sense of discrimination. That is the bottom line. So whoever comes in next, and our military is doing an amazing job that I've stayed with them, whoever comes in next will have to provide the healing touch. Sir, in Sanatan Dharam Bharat, the healing touch is very, very important. I've seen this across the world, not just in India. I've seen it in Sudan, I've seen it in Ethiopia. When a person is there and he's perceived to be an obstacle, he or she has to go so that somebody else comes in to provide the healing touch. I believe the federal government, the government in New Delhi, has decided that the change has to come so that whoever comes in now will be more acceptable to the communities that have lost their trust and have been fighting each other. When I first went there, after joining the Foreign Service in 1973, there was no such thing. It was just spectacularly beautiful. But that will now, I believe, dissipate in the year 2025. They'll come to terms with each other. What are we achieving? We are killing, you are killing, we are dying, you are dying. What have we gained? Zilch. It's like the farmers. Block kar diya, mila kya? Kuch nahi mila. Go back to the negotiating table. With due respect to Colonel Saab, who's on your show, I can see him looking very serious. Colonel Saab, we first try and negotiate a solution. I'm a diplomat. When we don't succeed, we ask you to go in. Once you've done what you have to, we come back and then we find a solution. I believe that this is what we are going to do in Manipur. Solution is in sight, sir. It can't go on indefinitely.
Right. Colonel Sapam? President's rule, the only option?
Yes, good evening, Anandji. Good evening, Anandji. I agree with this thing you just said now. What happened is, I think, though Birenji, I feel that he had not done anything wrong as far as the actions which he had taken before is concerned. But what happened is, in due course of time, in these 2.5 years, he was not in a position. Almost 2 years, he was not in a position to settle the issue as such, and the political dialogue could not be made. Now that he has resigned, he has submitted his resignation. I don't think now the Kuki party should not have any objections in having a dialogue together, and whenever the dialogue is there, and it should not be within the between the Meiteis and the Kukis. The dialogue has to be the dialogue, and let's say the meeting or the conference or whatever should be with all the stakeholders of the state. That is, I'm talking about even including the Nagas also, and even the Meitei Pangals also. They all should be there, and then the consensus minimum differences should be brought out, and they should come into the negotiation table. And as far as the separate administration is concerned, the areas where the districts where the Kukis are claiming, most of them are the Naga areas. They're going to be a big clash over there. So I think they have to share the way with the idea of separate administration. Otherwise, there's going to be a big clash again. And as far as the negotiation is concerned, there should never be any precondition. They should be able to allow sit down together. And now the Kuki party, they should sit down together without any precondition. They cannot say
correct.
That
will show the intent very clearly. A separate administrative block is the first step towards trying to further create a separate state, which is a machination, because there is a larger game at play too, and that has to be diffused. And like you said, all stakeholders should be involved. All tribes, all communities, whoever are residing in Manipur should come together, and they should all be involved and heard. Perhaps Mr. Bhalla has been sent there with a particular intent, and the centre is keen to resolve this very, very soon. So let's wish all ourselves all the very best, and we see peace in Manipur in 2025. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us on short notice, and thank you for your thoughts. We're going to take a very short break on that note. When we come back, how far can you push your limits? And can those limits flirt with our core Bharatiya value systems? Stay with us as Manoj Muntashir and Manoj Joshi share their thoughts here on The Right Stand on what's transpired on the India's Got Latent show. Stay with us.